Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Freshly Pressed. Today we have with us a returning guest, Brendan Staroki. Did I pronounce that
Yeah,
correctly?
you did. How you doing today? Yeah, a lot. You actually got it on the first. You didn't even ask me pre-show, like how to say. You just rolled with it, and you got it right. There you go.
That's awesome. How has the campaign launch been so far, Brendan?
So far, so good. We're a little over halfway. It looks like right now. Kind of staying busy right now. We have a good month ahead of us here, trying to get it in front of the eyes of many. Obviously the social media kind of posting and all that stuff keeps you busy in itself. Outside of the interviews and stuff. But yeah, we're really excited for this month. Really kind of wrapping our whole first season one arc up, getting ready for season two as all
Nice.
and all that stuff too. So a lot of exciting things for us right now.
Absolutely. Before we dive into all of that, I would love for you to introduce yourself because since we spoke last time, our audience has grown and changed. So I would love for you to, introduce yourself to the audience
Yeah,
once again.
so yeah, I'm Brandon Strachey, as said already. I'm the creator and writer of Avalon. Avalon right now is really the only thing I'm working on that is published and out there to the public as well. I'm just a normal guy who works a normal day job who just has a dream to be a creator, a writer. I have a big dream of being in cinema and film as well, being a director. But right now, baby steps is what we're looking at, and Avalon is the first step in kind of making that whole dream come to fruition.
That's awesome. When I was reading, I was rereading the issues 1 to 5 last evening, and uh, one of the things that struck me was the way story and the comic artworks in your book is actually quite cinematic, and the way you have imagined they're very very cinematic that way. Um, is it like is does it come from like your intention to create a more cinema like experience, or is it your training, or
Yeah,
where does that come from?
yeah, no training. Really just the dream and the way it's visioned in my head, and I can't take a lot of credit for that as well. A lot, a good deed of credit goes to Demetrius, and the way he kind of lays out the panel works or the panel layouts, and then the artwork that you kind of see. Um, he does a phenomenal job. I mean, when I told him originally when we first kind of linked up with this comic, I told him originally that I did want it to be a little bit cinematic. I wanted it to kind of look like the camera was going, guiding you through the page. And he was able to kind of incorporate that in his own kind of way, which was awesome for us. He kind of just took the vision out of my head. It made it even better. I couldn't even visualize that in my head, on paper until he started actually doing it. But a lot of credit goes to him for being having the capability of making it work that way.
Exactly. Like, just look at this panel here, right? Like, you have like the tension and then zoom ins that add to the tension, and things like that. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, right. I mean, and another thing too is on normal comic pages, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 panels seems like a crazy amount of panels on one page. But Demetrius does it, and he doesn't do it all the time. But there are times where there's that many panels on page, but it doesn't seem that way. The way he kind of guides just seems like it doesn't seem crowded. It doesn't seem flooded. But like even with this one too, this is just like the bottom half of a page that you're kind of
Mm,
seeing. You see the tension in the eyes. You get a kind of a wide shot of Mason as he's kind of going through this kind of anxiety attack. The gripping of the hand. taking the inhaler, and then the lifts on the inhaler. So it's just like all that stuff. That's 5 panels right there on the bottom half of a uh, page, and right there, it doesn't even see. Does a really good job, and a lot of credit goes to him and making those scenes feel very intense and really cool and eye candy, basically.
Yeah, 100%. I 100% agree with that. Um, I think there's a very famous comic book called The Master Race. It's a story. It's like a short story. It's part of one of EC Comics anthologies. And yeah, Bernard Kregstein is he's one of the greatest comic
Yeah.
artists of all time. He at his time, comics was so not outlawed, but they were considered garbage art, basically.
Okay.
And he was an art professor, and he just did comics to to uh, to get some money because it paid really well, and he didn't really tell anyone that he did comics. It was like that. Like he just hated it so much because everyone in art world had like this disdain for what he did on the side. But he was like one of the people who started doing like a single scene in several panels.
Yeah.
I think one of his most famous panels is uh, is where a guy falls after getting shot, and it's been or something like that, and it's done in like I think what 15 and 16 panels on the page, like 7 or 8 panels on the top, and then the same number of panels at the bottom. But it's so effective and it's so beautifully done. Like you don't feel crowded. You feel the effect. It's just sheer genius. Like yeah, how he's done it. So
No, I agree.
yeah.
I feel like when you're capable of doing that, it just makes everything feel that much better, especially when you're reading it and kind of going through it, and then it actually just like those little things, those like, I mean, again, just because I'm looking at the Mason thing here too, is like those little things, the close up on him gripping his pant leg as well. So it's just like, kind of going off of what you were mentioning about that artist as well. And just having those many panels and being capable of doing it just brings you and immerses you more into that scene and into the comic itself, the issue itself, even more so. And it's such a talent. It's such an amazing thing to see.
100%. Amazing. Tell us a bit about the story arc, and where are we in terms of that? You obviously said that this is the conclusion of the first series, and so where are we with that? Like, where are characters at? Without of course spoiling the story. Uh,
Yeah.
just a gist of what happened in the first 5 issues, and what should people expect from issue 6?
Yeah, so just people who don't really know what Avalon is, Avalon is a post-apocalyptic zombie story. We follow the Castle family through this whole kind of journey. Instead of following like a typical hero's journey that we see in this kind of genre time and time again, we take that back and we kind of follow the whole family. The Castle family itself will be the main protagonist going forward when we tell this kind of story. So we kind of stretch out the diversity and really make all these characters, we give a lot of these characters a lot of depth. And a lot of two big points that we focus on with the story is mental health and physical health issues that people deal with on a day-to-day basis, and we're kind of throwing it into this comic and throwing it into this world. But over the 5 issues that are currently out right now, we a lot of it was basically the beginning of the apocalypse. We it seems like, okay, 5 issues is a lot of issues to kind of tell a story about the outbreak, but the way it's told, I think, is done in a really good manner where it gives you time to breathe without having time to breathe, if that makes sense. It's really
Mm.
showcasing two separate stories kind of moving forward up until issue 5, and they kind of tie in with each other perfectly, I believe, at the towards the end of this series 5, and then 6 will be coming up here as well. But just a lot of chaos. We show a lot of differences. It's just like a nice introduction to these characters, what they're going to be dealing with, and this world, as well. And we showed a lot of realism and rawness as well, and we wanted to kind of make sure that that was known from the get go, because that's kind of like that's going to be another thing that we really kind of pride ourselves on with Avalon.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing. And
Thank
I
you.
think I can vouch for that. I've read all the five issues that art gets progressively better with every issue. The writing gets progressively better with every issue. I think you guys have like just like just taken the feedback, improved with every issue. And I think like issue 5, 4, and 5 are really, really very good. And I'm
Thank you.
hoping the same for issue 6.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I hope so too. And I really appreciate the compliments there too, because that's part of the, my mindset and, the whole writing room's mindset, for that matter too, is like we want to take in any kind of advice, anything, period. What people, opinions and all that stuff, and take it in. Kind of, I like to be a sponge and, in a lot of things. I like to take in advice and all that, and kind of shape it into my own life and apply it to my life as well. So, that is something that we do kind of focus on as well, and kind of hear feedback, listen to what people actually say and think, and kind of take it from there. But I appreciate that.
That's fantastic. And like I think I've told you a few times before, but I always love this
Yeah.
the use of reds and juxtaposed with black and white. Like it just adds a chilling effect to the whole story. Like this page is stunning.
It definitely does, and that's one thing that Demetrius has a talent at as well. He really guides your eyes through. This page specifically. The blood is used to guide your eyes through the whole panel or the whole page, panel to panel, which he just does a phenomenal job of. And countless times he's able to kind of do this kind of stuff where really make the blood pop and really attract your eye. And that was one of the deals too. I wanted it to be a black and white kind of deal, which because I was a fan of the Walking Dead comic book. But I needed that splash of red. I needed that to feel that blood and gore, especially being in a zombie kind of story. I thought that was definitely necessary. And I couldn't ask for a better, kind of artist with Demetrius as well. I mean, like when I was picturing the black, white, and blood, I was not picturing this style initially, but it definitely fits for the story. Now I can't see it any other way. If anybody were to do this kind of interior artwork, it wouldn't seem right to me anymore. So we're very glad to have him and the style and kind of move forward with that.
Nice. And also I think like one more compliment I would love to give is I think the dialogue, it's such an underrated thing in most of the comic books, but the dialogue bit like especially for characters within the family, I think the dialogues are very realistic
Thank you.
and they're like they don't feel. One of the issues I've always had with a lot of comics is that the dialogues seem like so unrealistic and off. Sometimes it takes you out of the story, but I think the dialogues especially I think like the issue 5, like the dialogues are so well written. Even like issue 1, I actually did love the whole introduction scene, and like the scene in the diner where they're just talking about yeah, so they're like daily life stuff, and
Yeah.
doing some smart exposition. I,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I feel like the dialogue there is like it's so hard to write that because you can just have it really heavy with what's happened world building, but like the way you have handled it is actually quite
Yeah, thank you very much. That was, that actually scene, especially being new at this and not really knowing what we're doing. When Alan and I were first kind of writing that scene, more specifically the diner scene in the beginning, it was very, I don't want, kind of stressful because it's just like we didn't want to, because like you were kind of touching on it as well as like that could very easily get out of control and seem very stupid and too much and way too much in general and very robotic or stiff. But we kept having to redo that scene because, like you said, like it just seemed like too much. It seemed too stiff. So a lot of what we did with that scene and after, actually, and still to this day, is we almost do like table reads, like how kind of movies do it. So every, Alan and I, throughout the 6 issues that we're about to see now, is we've literally did like a table read, like we were acting
Wow.
out like these characters to kind of make it, speaking it out loud to see if it sounds like a realistic statement or a realistic sentence or something that would somebody would actually say, and not like reading it out of a book, because that happens a lot as well. Even when I write today, I'll have to like rewrite something because it just sounds too stiff. It sounds too word, like you're typing something out, rather than somebody just
Yeah.
kind of talking. Like I use a lot of like, lingo and like slang. I don't use proper words when I speak a lot. And then when you're typing, it's very easy to kind of get lost with typing proper and all that. But
Yeah.
not a lot of people speak proper. They kind of just say a bunch of words, and however it comes out is how it comes out. So the table reading from that scene on, basically from the beginning till today, is kind of like what has helped us with the dialogue overall. But it's again, thanks for the compliment. It's nice to hear that that is noticed, and to have that not feel robotic, stiff, or taking you out of the story overall.
Nice. Awesome. Tell us a bit about your rewards and uh, what special rewards do you have this time?
So obviously we wanted to throw our PDFs in there, just the single PDFs, and a catch-up tier PDF for people who are kind of seeing us for the first time as well. Very affordable catch-up tier, $25 for 6 issues. We also do have a physical catch-up tier as well. I believe we only have 4 of those left to offer, the physical ones. Again, very affordable. I've heard people kind of say that it's very affordable. People usually sell their issues for $10 each. We're selling 6 for 40. So very
Wow.
affordable for people who are new and want a physical copy. We are doing 3 covers this time. Uh, we have cover A, cover B, and we're calling the third one cover G. Cover G is going to be a gold foil cover of the standard cover, which would be cover A. So we're kind of getting in kind of touch with the printing company that we're going through as well, and seeing how we can kind of incorporate the gold foil and to kind of have that punch for the last issue of the season as well. Which is a very fun thing. I
Mm,
can't wait to get my hands on it for myself as well, and and also get that out there for everybody who reads it. Um, and then we have 2 kind of rare deals as well towards the bottom, which actually have up right now. Mark and Andrea bundle. That's an original 11 by 17 sketch by Demetrius that lives in Greece. So this is not going to be something that happens very often. This is uh, again, he's from Greece. It's not going to be often that this happens. So this is the last one of
yeah, yeah.
5 that we did in our last campaign. So we have 1 more left,
Wow.
and then we have the Demetrius special. We say that you can undergo the Demetrius special here and get yourself put, have him make you look like an infected in our story, which is kind of a cool
Ah,
print too. And then the bottom 2 here, we're doing custom police badges for Andy and Miller. These will have identification cards for both of them, one of one, but you'll get, like I said, a custom. This will be a real life badge, so this is actually one of the expensive ones. That's why this is kind of on the higher end as well. But customizing a real life badge and having a custom identification card for them being police officers as well is kind of a cool deal to have. And
nice.
I wish I could have one for myself, but we'll see what happens if people buy it or not.
That's very interesting. Yeah, merchandise is always very, very interesting, right?
Yeah.
I always love when merchandise expands the world a little bit and just adds to it. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And actually, this is a kind of a bigger deal for us as well in the add-on section. This will be the first time somebody outside of Demetrius has kind of touched and did their Martin for $12, 11 by 17 poster that'll be dropped. It's his name is Monster Mark, uh, and he does the local Erie Horror Fest kind of promo art. I reached out to him. He was very excited to do it because he's a local. We're both Erie, Pennsylvania locals, and helping each other out was such
Uh,
an awesome deal for both of us. And that'll be the first time we offer somebody else's artwork inside the Avalon universe. It was always Demetrius. Um, But yeah, here, this will be the first time we do it.
That's fantastic. No, I think it's great. It's great that uh, there's also like I think I mean, it just adds to the whole vibe of the book as well, right? When you get like different perspectives from different artists, right? So yeah.
That had to be explained to me, actually by Demetrius and Lori Calcaterra themselves. I was like, yeah, I always looked at it like, I don't want to cheat on my hairstylist kind of deal, so I don't want to like cheat on my artist. So it actually, Lori Calcaterra and Demetrius both were kind of explaining it to me like, no, that's not how it is. It actually opens the door for more people, because if you have an artist do a cover or whatnot, they bring their fan base to Avalon, and then it actually introduces them to Demetrius, because Demetrius has the interior art. Demetrius will be doing the original cover and all that stuff. So actually, so the fact that it's actually helping Demetrius out as well, it makes me feel better about it. And they finally convinced me to do it. So that's just like kind of like a baby step into that direction of having other artists kind of put their kind of taste into the Avalon universe.
That's fantastic. I know. I remember we had a chat about this last time on our
Yeah,
show, and you said the same thing. And like, yeah, I agree. I agree with your point in principle. Like if you love what your artist is doing, why change?
yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah, I think that's fair. But I think, like you said, it just gives it just expands the scope of and the reach of your book with every artist. It also helps the artists actually, because they are a community. They all love to lift each other up.
yeah,
And like I think like different art styles always help the story, always help the book, always help the universe in a way. Like people, I think like people who are fans of that particular style, not even like I would say that person, right? Like sometimes they're fans of that particular artist, but sometimes they're even fan of that style.
yeah.
Even they it may appeal to like a completely different set of audience,
No,
just like that.
and
So
I think that what you just explained now is how it was kind of explained to me, and really allowing, again, like having other people kind of come in and see Demetrius's style off of somebody else's style, that kind of, if it's a horror kind of style that they like, they can kind of see Demetrius's kind of horror kind of drawing and things of that nature too. But I think it's definitely the first step of many, and we're kind of looking at expanding and kind of getting other people who are interested in it, and maybe in the future as well. And we're very excited. It's kind of a
mm,
cool thing.
nice. Nice. What's the plan for after this? Like, do you want to start a new season, or do you want to explore more stories like side quests, or like uh, what do you call spin-offs?
Yeah. So,
Next.
yeah. So, what is next after this? It will be actually the trade paperback. So the reason it wasn't put on with this kind of Kickstarter bundle here is because we have a plan. The plan is to actually, and this is coming from Demetrius. He was adamant about doing this. He wanted to remake issue one's art style. The story itself will be the same, but he wanted to kind of bring the style that he's developed over the years into that first kind of issue as well. So the next goal after this goal will be the issue one remake, and then we're also going to be bundling that with trade paperback. And then also with the trade paperback, we'll have a lot of bonus material. It will also be adding the first like the first concept page that Demetrius sent to us when we were first kind of contacting each other as well, which is an amazing concept page, and it's going to be very very cool for people to kind of see it, where it started and how we got to where we are today. We're going to be adding a lot of bonus material as well. And that's going to basically be some of the script writing, and then kind of the conversations between Demetrius and I, and how we got the script to the actual page that you see now. So that
Mm,
I'm a big fan of like bonus material, concept art as well. That'll be added to it. So a bunch of exciting stuff coming up after this, but we don't want to think too far ahead. Obviously, this is like the goal right now. But that is our
mm,
next step after this as well. Hopefully we kind of get through this issue 6 here, fund this one, get this out into everybody's hands, and then our goal is set on that remake and trade paperback. And then after that, like you're talking about, we're going to be moving towards season 2. That so not so much uh, spin-off series, but that is also in the works as well. Not so much time goes into it. It's actually something that's not. We're going to be doing it a little bit differently. We're not going to be telling a different
Mm,
story in the same time frame, if that makes sense. The spin-off series are going to be
right.
in the same universe, but at different time frames, like before the apocalypse. So, like what happened and all that stuff. So, we have some interesting takes on what we're going to be doing and how we're going to be telling that. So that's in the works as well. It's just about finding time and really money, honestly, unfortunately, with that. But
Yeah.
those are the plans going forward.
Yeah. No, that's fair. And yeah, it's expensive to make comics.
Yeah,
Maybe
right.
not expensive. Yeah, not as expensive as movies, but it's still a lot of
Yeah, it
money.
definitely. It's funny because when I kind of talk with people as well, and they're like, "What did you want to do?" I wanted to be a film director, and this Avalon was actually supposed to be a movie, but that, not to say comics aren't expensive, but it's the least expensive out of having a movie or a comic. So that's part of the reason why we decided to do the comic as well.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's fair. It's still like for people who work regular day jobs, it's still an expensive undertaking,
Yeah,
and it's always good when your comic book makes a little bit of money because that your bills are covered for this one and you have some for the next one.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, it's always good. Nice. Um, awesome. So I love this section. I love to talk about pop culture. Tell us like what are your top five pop culture things that you like, and we'll talk a little bit into as you go into one each of them. So
Okay, so for like the pop culture stuff too, are we talking like how expanded are we getting with the pop culture? Because I know that could be pretty expanded pretty far. Like
I know it's very broad,
so like a
but you can it can be a movie or a TV show or a book or a comic,
okay,
anything really.
yeah. So right now, what we've been really kind of doing right now has been, I'm kind of late on it, but The Boys, the show The Boys, I've been watching, and really just
Nice.
movies in general. So that would be one. Um, uh, it's kind of hard to say too because it's like when I get into these phases here though too, I kind of just shut out and get right into this. So we don't watch much. I'm trying to kind of think of what else it would be. I am reading, the Crazies kind of comic book. I didn't know it was a comic book before, so it's kind of like taken from the remake, if that kind of makes sense. Like an extension of
Oh,
that as well. So yeah, I can't remember who does it, but it's the Crazies as well. So that would be the comic one. Um, those are
what's it called? It's called Crazies, is
the
it?
the Crazies. So it's like the movie The Crazies, but it's just like a comic variation of it as well.
Ah,
So yeah,
okay.
it's kind of like a different telling almost, which is kind of interesting as
Ah,
well. So I've been reading those. I don't even know how many there are. I can't imagine there's many of them, but I got like four of them, three or four of them that I had that I
that's
read
very
through.
interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah,
cool seeing it in the comic thing again. That being because being in the comics and doing the comics now, I gained like an appreciation for kind of art and all that too. But um, Path to the Pale Rider,
nice.
kind of shout out Lori Calcaterra though too. I'm kind of looking at her. She actually has a trade paperback right now as well. It's on my desk here as well. I'm looking at that now. I've read through that, and it's just such an awesome job. She did an awesome job with that. Uh, but
Fantastic.
wish I could do more movies. But yeah, I'll throw one more out there. I don't know if it's five. I think that might be four. But one more. A Quentin Tarantino movie always does it for me. So anything Quentin Tarantino. The latest one I've watched was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. My one of my favorite movies he's done. I'm a big fan of Quentin and the work he does and the dedication he puts into it. And I like to take a lot of inspiration from his stuff as well and apply it into our work as well.
That's fantastic. No, I've watched that movie in theaters twice,
Yeah, me too.
and A lot of my friends were like, they were like, "Why? What's the appeal?" And I'm like, "It's if you don't get it, you don't get it. You know, like
Yeah,
it's
it's beautifully
it,
shot. No, it's hard. How do you explain that to somebody who doesn't get it? Like you said, like it's. I agree. I watch it twice in the theater as well. I think I've only watched it once out of the theater. Actually, hell, I might even seen it 3 times in the theater, but definitely twice. But yeah, I, I love the movie. I love the way it's shot, the acting in it, the story, the plot, all that stuff. It's just, yeah,
yeah.
I'm a huge fan of that movie.
I mean, in principle, it's just hanging out with these characters, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's such a like it's such a simple way to like it just draws you in, and yeah, you just having a good time with these people. You know, like you're part of their life for that 3 hours. So it's yeah, it's so good.
100%.
Yeah,
I agree with that statement a lot. I think it could just be as simple as that, and it, like you said, you're just hanging out with them, and it just felt that way as you were watching it, and again, all the shots kind of do that and make you feel that, and I don't know, it just really hit with me, and I really enjoy that movie. It's one of my favorites. I have a huge movie
nice,
poster of
nice,
it as well in my other room as well, so yeah, I like that movie a lot.
nice. I am a Tarantino fan myself, and I have a Pulp Fiction
There you go.
poster
Yep.
here.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
yeah.
one I have to watch soon because it's been a little bit for me. That was probably my favorite before Once Upon a Time came out. I mean, it's still neck and neck, but I love Pulp Fiction. You can't go wrong with Pulp Fiction, but I have to watch it.
No,
It's been a little while for me watching that one.
okay. Controversial question. Which is your least favorite Tarantino movie?
So I've watched every single one of them except for Jackie Brown. Okay.
Oh,
I heard. So talking, I'll speak for my dad here as well. He's seen them all, and he said his least favorite was Jackie Brown. So unfortunately, I probably can't use that one because I haven't seen it.
uh,
Um, and not to say that this is bad. I'm not saying it's bad, but my least favorite out of all the ones would probably be Reservoir Dogs. And
okay,
again, not to say
okay.
it's bad. You know what I mean? I love Reservoir Dogs. But out of all the stuff he's made, I it's hard to pick. It would have to probably be that one, and those are the ones that have I seen. I'm pretty similar to my dad. I'm sure if I saw Jackie Brown would be my least favorite. But I have to watch that, so I can't say that one. But so Reservoir Dogs probably out of all of them, but they're all to me. They're all juggernauts to me. I love
Oh,
all
they're
of
all
his
beautiful
work.
movies.
Yeah, I
I
love all of
agree.
his work. Every movie he makes, amazing.
Yeah, I have to say though, I for a very long time, Jackie Brown was actually my favorite
Really,
Tarantino movie.
really.
Yeah, if you put it in perspective, hear me out. So if you put it in perspective, you think like he did Pulp Fiction, which was like a complete banger, right?
Yeah.
Like uh, it was like a ball of energy, that movie, right? Like it has so many amazing things. It's fully packed. But I think then like he just follows it up with Jackie Brown, which is like quaint, and it's a very quaint story, and it's essentially a love story. It's a very beautiful love story about like people who are at a certain age, you know, like their whole life is like everyone thinks about their age when you watch it, like because this Jackie Brown is a person who has like she's in her late 40s, and the kind of you know like and she's not it's not like a it's not like a loser, but she's not having the best time of her life, and you know at that time, and all the characters in that movie look pretty similar in that range, you know. Such a beautiful character study if you think about it, you know.
I'll have to
It's
watch it,
the
and
yeah,
that was the excuse I kind of heard as well on why Jackie Brown didn't do too hot because it comes off of Pulp Fiction. Maybe it's the timing kind of deal between projects
yeah,
and have coming from that to this, it probably just rubbed people the wrong way a bit. Um, I'm definitely gonna watch it. I can't lie about that. Even if I don't think I would like it, I'm definitely gonna watch it. And I think you really
yeah,
sold me on even liking it as well. Because I'm not gonna be watching it in that order of like, okay, I watch Pulp Fiction and then and
yeah,
then this comes
yeah.
out. So I might have that appreciation for it a little bit differently than my dad did. So but Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. I do want to
Who
watch it.
knows?
I am
Yeah.
excited to see it. Just because I have to watch all of his movies. It bothers me to this day that I haven't seen all of them yet. You know, after I talk about being a huge fan of his, you know, who am I? So I do have to definitely watch that one.
Yeah. What I would highly recommend though is you read the book Rum Punch first,
Okay.
and then watch the movie, because Rum Punch is what it's based out of. And I love Elmo Leonard. He's a very, like, he's a prolific crime writer. He really writes, like, because he all his books have, like, a lot of his books have been adapted into movies, and a lot of them are very, like, Get Shorty and this, and they're like, they're adapted into really good movies as well, because his characters are always very, like, off the street and off the wall,
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
kind of characters. um but it almost feels like this is like, Tarantino read that book and took a step back and said, "How can I reinterpret this as a story of a middle-aged woman, rather than a story of all these motley
100%.
characters?"
It
So
did a
yeah,
way different take and way different direction from what that
yeah,
was. So I definitely understand that. I guess I can understand why people didn't click with it either. Again, based off of just the timing of it. Again, to kind of speaking in that direction, but I could definitely see how I can like it now. And definitely appreciate it now, not having it all kind of lined up with everything else. But I guess that it is a little bit different than a normal Quentin Tarantino movie, but I think I could still get down with it.
no, that's amazing. I think for the last one, I have an idea. Think of probably the best zombie movie slash comic TV show,
Oh,
because it kind of fits nicely with your
yeah, yeah,
thing.
huh?
So
I think that's simple for me. I think it's The Walking Dead. And if you ask me to pick the comic or the show, I think it's a toss up. I think it's a toss up in different, kind of different for different reasons. That was really the first kind of deal where you're kind of getting this kind of experience, kind of like even, again, being a huge fan of The Walking Dead as well, and giving me that first kind of feeling. I mean, zombies before The Walking Dead were just a quick movie, a quick chaos movie, and then you get a gun shooting, violence, done. You know what I mean? Now that gave it like a life. That made you think of a life after the chaos.
yeah,
And again, that's what sparked my question to myself that ultimately turned into Avalon was how would I survive in a zombie apocalypse? Um, and that kind of sat with me for a while, and then I started obviously doing some layouts of all that stuff of like how we would survive in different variations, zombie variations, and all that stuff. But The Walking Dead was
yeah,
probably the first thing that really kind of opened it up for me a little bit more. And then other things that you kind of showing here as well, like with Stakeland. It's a B movie, but it's the way it's told. It's a very nice, slow movie. Post apocalypse.
mm-hmm.
It's slow. There's a little bit of action sequences in there. Obviously, it's a vampire
Mm.
slash zombie movie. So like vampires that like act as if they're zombies. Again, I
Yeah,
love the way it's told. I love the way it's filmed. I love it. It's just basically these couple people. They're going to a destination and they pick up people along the way. And the
yeah,
story to me is beautiful. I really that one really stuck with me as well. And obviously, The Last of Us as well puts another kind of banger in that too, where it's like
yeah,
again life after the fact. Um, and that actually was where my head was thinking originally for this series for Avalon. Um, but good thing when Alan and I were first kind of figuring this all out, we were accidentally rushing through our favorite part, which was the apocalypse itself, like the beginning, and we were accidentally finding ourselves rushing through it. And then we kind of took a step back, and then we were like slow it down a bit, and that's what we got with these 6 issues here. Is we really kind of showcased what this infection is in those
yeah,
six
yeah,
issues, and
yeah.
really let people kind of read it. take it in and take in all the horror and the chaos that comes with it.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. I think one thing you have done is made the story very personal.
Yeah,
Like you've obviously you have points in some of the issues where you talk about the world and other characters and like how like the infection itself and things like that. But like the stories themselves are very personal. So I think like that's what sold me on the series totally. So
good.
there's a movie. It's an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie called Maggie. I don't know if you've seen
I
it.
have not seen it yet, but I want to so bad. I keep seeing it, and then I can't find the time to watch it. But I've heard it was great. I heard it was good. I didn't hear it was great. I heard it was really good. It was worth a watch. But I do want to watch that.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch because, like, I think it takes a similar approach in terms of there's obviously this whole thing happening in the world, and uh, with Arnold's daughter gets infected with the virus, and it's just a story of like him helping her through going through the whole transformation. So it's like
Yeah,
it's a very emotional movie. It's done really well. I mean, I would not say it's the best movie ever made, but it's still very good. It's very effective in like in how it takes that approach and does it really well. So I think it's worth a watch. Yeah.
I definitely am going to watch it. The concept of it. Reading the concept and hearing people kind of explain the concept. It sounds very interesting. Like you said, a very emotional kind of telling of this world. And that regard too is such an interesting thing for me too, and I actually resonate with that as well, and I kind of want to watch that and take that in and go through that kind of experience watching that movie too. It's definitely on the list. I have to find some time to kind of
Yeah.
put toward that.
My another recommendation, I've told this to a few other people, and I told this to Sam Willis and a few other folks on the show as well. It's this movie is called One Cut of the Dead. I don't know if you've ever
I
seen it.
never heard
It's a
of it.
Japanese movie.
I never even heard of it. I'll have to write
Um,
that one down for sure because that one I don't even know.
it is hilarious. Like it, I think the first half of that movie is a little hard to get through, but when it gets going, it's just batshit crazy because it's so it is a meta movie. It is about a crew who's making a zombie movie, and the real zombies invade the set. They don't know that they're part of a zombie apocalypse. Um, but as they start shooting the movie, zombie apocalypse happens, and they have to really decide that do they want to keep filming or
D- uh,
so as yeah
is is
you
there an
have to watch
American
it.
version of it that's kind of corny? I can't.
I haven't heard of an American version of that. I don't know.
Because the idea of it sounds like something. It's not a good one. It's like a corny, cheesy one. Because there's a lot of that in the zombie universe as well. So I can acknowledge that. There's a lot of corny zombie things out there. But it sounds familiar to. I can't even think of what this is called. But I think that what you're talking about might be first, and because Americans like to steal things a lot. So I think they stole that idea and they made it like a cheesy, corny deal. I don't know if this movie you're talking about is like a
uh
corny kind of telling out of it, or if it was just kind of like the plot. But America, I think, definitely took that and made it like a stupid wannabe comedy.
no, I think you must definitely watch the Japanese version. I have no idea what the American version is, but yeah, One Cut of the Dead is really good. Like the first half is obviously a bit slow and a bit hard to get through, but when it just gets going, it's just insane. It's
Yeah,
just really a lot of fun. Yeah,
yeah.
and I
God.
oh sorry, you was like because the name they have tried to make it like a one shot, like a one cut,
Yeah.
that whole movie. So that's the crazy factor. They just keep shooting with the apocalypse around them. It's so good. Sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, I wrote that one down. Is that on like any subscription service right now, or?
I have no idea. Well, I'm in Australia, so I
Oh,
have
okay.
no
So
idea
yeah,
how.
I'd have to
Yeah,
see. I know that is a little bit different too. I'll have to check that out and see what it is on as well. It sounds interesting. It
yeah,
sounds like a fun time and a lot of chaos too. And I'm a big fan of the chaos, um,
yeah.
of course. But
Nice. Nice. That's amazing. We're coming close to time, but I would love for you to take the stage and do a quick pitch of the book, issue six and the series in general. For fans who have read issues one through five, that's fine. You can just talk about issue six. But for new fans, for people who want to get started in the series, just give us a quick pitch of the series.
yeah, so Avalon. I'll start off with the quick pitch for new people who don't know. So Avalon is a post-apocalyptic story. We follow the Castle family through a nightmarish journey. With that being said, we don't follow a typical hero's journey. One main protagonist. The whole Castle family will be one main protagonist. With that, there will be a diverse group of family members all feel like their own separate main character. We focus on a couple different things like mental health and physical health issues that people deal with on a day to day basis. We throw that in the world of the apocalypse. So, I mean, I know personally myself that a lot of people deal with mental health. I know a lot of people myself that deal with physical health. Now you could ask yourself, how would I survive in this kind of apocalypse with those kind of things going on as well? Because people do deal with those all the time. So going everybody who's read issues 1 through 5 so far, issue 6, you're basically going to be continuing on from issue 5, and with that, you're going to be returning back to Cliff and Elise, which these are two characters that you will meet. And they're going to be refuging the rest of the Castle family as well due to some incidents that kind of took place in the last few issues here as well. And then you can kind of see,
Don't use the spoiler.
yeah, no big spoilers, but
Yeah.
they're not sure how much longer they're going to be able to stay at this house with everything kind of going on with the infection, with a blizzard that we've been teasing from issue 1 as well. That's kind of coming in as well. So not only do the characters have to fight infected, a new apocalypse, and just madness. Now Mother Nature's kind of kicking in as well. So there's a lot of different chaos things going on in this one issue alone, and it's setting up for a good season 2 here.
Nice. Nice. That's amazing. Funny, this episode is our season premiere,
Yeah. Okay.
so
So yeah,
and it's the season finale for you.
nice irony there.
I know. But do check out the book on Kickstarter. The campaign's live right now, and do back it. We're 50% through. Let's make that other 50%
Yeah.
happen very soon. Let's make it profitable for Team Avalon because they have been working hard on this. I would love to see a trade paperback where Dimitris has gone back and done all the art, because I would love for the whole series to work so nicely together.
Yeah.
Though I will still miss that issue one. After that, it'll be like a little. It's a little rough around the edges, but it still works. Uh, you know, but yeah, kudos to the team. You've come a long way, and it seems fitting that it's the finale for season one.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. It's definitely exciting finale here that we're working with here. It's honestly been a great journey so far with this first season, having the team be a part of this whole deal, and to kind of get to where we are today as well with everybody who's backed us in the past as well. That is the reason we are here today, and in only 2 years and being an independent kind of comic creator and having a first season out is really truly because all the people who've backed us and like and share and support us as well. That is the only reason we're here today.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think you guys have delivered. I think that's the part that keeps getting fans coming back for more, because a lot of Kickstarter campaigns and other crowdfunding campaigns don't honor, they don't honor the people who have backed them, the backers, right? Like, if people don't receive the product or receive a product that's subpar, then they won't come back. But the very fact that people are coming back for your work means you're doing something right.
Yeah, yeah,
So
no, 100%. No, which is definitely awesome to see. It's definitely a crazy kind of feeling to have right now too, and like kind of with all those kind words that you're kind of laying on me too. It's such an awesome experience, and a lot of credit goes to the whole team as a whole that made Avalon what it is here today. Without them too, without them and the backers and everybody who supported us, again, we wouldn't be here today. And to be here 2 years later and still kind of keep grinding and kicking too goes to a little bit of stubbornness and also again a little bit of support as well. So again, it's just thanking everybody who's been a part and helping us out and all that.
amazing. Awesome. Thanks a lot for coming on the show, Brandon. I always appreciate our chats, you
Me
know.
too. Me too.
Awesome. And until next time, have a good one and take care. Be well and back, Avalon.
You too. Thank you.